So, we know in Mark of Athena that Annabeth had to open a chasm to Tartarus in order to free Arachne and liberate the Athena Parthenos from its hiding place in the catacombs of Rome. In doing so, she sacrifices not only her backpack, with Daedalus's laptop and all of its secrets inside, but she also loses the bronze knife that she's carried with her since she was 7. Even when she and Percy eventually get down to Tartarus, she makes no mention of retrieving the knife, and begins to use a drakenbone sword that Damocin gives her when they reach his hut. But the knife itself is still somewhere down in the bellows of Tartarus. In Chalice of the Gods, however, she has it again, despite the new college recommendation letter series taking place the semester after the battle with Gaia and the Giants. She brandishes it in the fight against Hebe, even though it doesn't do much to help her, and pulls it out a few more times in between then and the wrath of the Triple Goddess, leading us to wonder when exactly she got it back. No mention is directly made regarding how she found it, but luckily for us, there is actually an answer. If you guys end up liking the answer we found, something as small as a like or a comment can go a long way to help the channel grow. We'd love to keep making these kinds of videos for you, so letting us know what kind of content you would like would mean the absolute world to us. And we thank you. The solution comes from the 3-part crossover series between Percy, Annabeth, and the Cains as they try to recover the crown of Ptolemy and apprehend the rogue magician Setne. In the Son of Sabak, Percy asks if the gator that he and Carter are fighting came through the Doors of Death, confirming that these adventures took place after the rise of Gaia, since Percy only learned about the doors in the Son of Neptune and then went directly into the Quest of the Seven. In the second book of the series, The Staff of Serapis, Annabeth and Sadie work together to track down Serapis and stop him from reconstructing the Lighthouse of Alexandria, thus ripping fissures into the mist and the Duat, completely destabilizing reality as we know it. In the book, Sadie loans Annabeth a wand since she is without her knife, and the wand transforms itself into the weapon that Annabeth is most comfortable with, that being, of course, her iconic dagger. It taps into her own comforts and becomes the weapon that would serve her best, and throughout the Staff of Serapis, Annabeth uses the knife just as easily as ever, and Sadie tells her to keep it. She has plenty of wands back in the 21st Gnome. This means it's entirely possible that the knife we see Annabeth using is Sadie's wand if she ended up keeping it, but that brings up other questions. We know that Annabeth is not a magician by Egyptian standards, and as far as we can tell, she doesn't have the blood of the pharaohs, so she probably doesn't know how to change it back into a wand, and even if she could, she wouldn't know what to do with it afterwards anyway. She could try to mimic some of the things that she saw Sadie doing, but the entire crossover series was a cautionary tale about blending the two magic systems, and how dangerous it would be for the Greek demigods to claim Egyptian powers. They need to merge their powers in order to defeat Setne, but Percy even remarks that Camp Half-Blood would be completely destroyed if Clarice ever learned how to summon a combat avatar like Carter does. And after seeing the calamity that can be caused by blending the powers, the four of them agree to keep their worlds as separate as possible for the time being. Setne and Serapis meddling with the two worlds caused ripples in the Duat and the mist itself, implying that there might be more dire consequences for crossing powers. Therefore, even if Annabeth knew how to change the wand back, she would likely be smart enough to know that she needs to leave it alone, no matter how tempting Egyptian secrets might be. She craves knowledge, and seeing the Egyptian world certainly piqued her interest, so we know that she would have trouble resisting the urge to learn as much as she could about Egyptian magic. But after all she's been through, all she wants now is to finish high school with Percy, get to New Rome, so some power might be better left for someone else to explore. To her, the wand might just be a knife, and that's all she'll ever use it for, since it's not just any Greek dagger, but a perfect replica of the one she's most comfortable with. This, however, only works under the assumption that this is truly still Sadie's wand, because even though Sadie told her to keep it, Carter and Annabeth were much more cautious about combining their power, so Annabeth may have ended up returning the wand. As we just mentioned, she may have been tempted by curiosity, so it might have just been in her best interest to give the wand back after the adventure concluded. The last thing she needed to be was tapping into a power source she doesn't understand, while she and Percy are focused on just getting through school and building their life in New Rome. If this is the case, then the likeliest explanation is that she simply returned to the camp armory and picked out a new dagger for herself, since that's the weapon she was the most comfortable and familiar with. It's easy to conceal, light to carry, and she's been training with it since she was 7, so it's the clear choice to serve as a replacement weapon. Despite being an iconic weapon, the knife doesn't seem to be particularly special by weaponry standards, seeing as it doesn't have any defining characteristics or unique features. Throughout the beginning of The Lightning Thief, Percy keeps experimenting with different weapons, trying to figure out which one suits him best. But there's always something discomforting about everything he tries. He works with Luke, but each sword they practice with is either too large, too small, or not properly balanced in a way that blends well with Percy. That's what made Riptide so alluring when he finally received it from Chiron, because it was the first sword that he felt completely comfortable wielding. As far as Annabeth's knife, though, we don't have any indication that it was unique in any sense other than its history. So while finding a replacement for Riptide would be impossible, finding a new knife for Annabeth might be much easier, and the camp would have plenty of supplies left over for her to take. The original knife, with all of its historical and sentimental significance, is still down in Tartarus, that much is known, and whatever she's using in Chalice of the Gods is a replacement of some kind. We don't currently know of any demigod field trips to Tartarus that are on the schedule, and Will and Nico didn't recover the knife or the laptop while they were there, so it's likely that they're going to remain down in the pit for the time being. Whether it's Sadie's wand or a camp replacement that she's using right now may be unconfirmed, but it's going to be one of those two options. If it is Sadie's wand, then that would mean Annabeth is carrying a perfect replica of the exact knife, since the wand molded itself to Annabeth's liking. But it will also mean that she's carrying an incredibly powerful artifact that's hidden right in plain sight. Her dagger can tap into the world of the duat, and can channel the power of magicians for anyone who knows how to use it, and this is a powerful plot point to leave up in the air. There is no telling if or how this could be used, but if Annabeth ever crosses paths with magicians again, and they find themselves in a bind, then Annabeth's knife might end up saving the day by offering an experienced magician a lifeline. If Annabeth herself figures out how to channel Egyptian magic, however, then we might be looking at the strongest Annabeth has ever been, since we know that Chase lineage has something special going on with it. Not only is she the daughter of Athena, but her cousin Magnus is the son of Frey, the Norse god of healing. So finding out that they also have the blood of the pharaohs somewhere up in their family tree would not be the most surprising revelation about this particularly strange family. Based on Annabeth's character, however, we find it more likely that she ended up giving the wand back, and this is a camp replacement that just resembles her old one. We don't think she would put herself in a position where she could be tempted again, now that she and Percy finally have the chance of starting a normal life together. But that's where she got her knife from in the Chalice of the Gods. But what do you guys think of this explanation? Do you think that she's still using Sadie's wand, or is this a replacement that she got from camp after the Staff of Serapis and the Crown of Ptolemy? If you like these kind of videos, please let us know what you'd like to see next. We love this series, we love talking about this series, and we'd love to have you join in on the conversation below. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.